Michael, thanks for joining us in the United Stands. Well, where do we start? You signed for Manchester United a little while ago now. When you did sign, was Sir Matt Busby and the history and the legacy of him and the Busby Babes something you were aware of, and was that something that influenced you in coming to the club?
It's part of the club. It's part of the history. I was well aware of it before I came to the club, but not until I got here really did I understand how deep it kind of ran through people's veins, you know, and what it meant to people. And in and around every corridor, the training ground, there's something there. There's a quote. There's a presence. So I was fully aware of kind of the privileged position that I was put myself into, or had been put into rather. And the responsibilities that come with that, and yeah, it's not just a normal football club, you know. There's a way you've got to be as a Manchester United player, and that's something that you're fully aware of, and the lads are fully aware of now, and it's something quite beautiful, really. You know, it's not a normal situation. I think we've got to be grateful for being able to go through that experience.
You said that around every corridor there was a quote, or there was this and that. There was a remembrance of Sir Matt Busby, the Busby Babes. Did that inspire you to really work for this shirt and believe and fight for the club you were at?
It's inspirational. Of course it is. Within yourself as a player, you've got that anyway. You know, you've got that real sort of inner belief and kind of motivation, but that's why this club's so special, because of the histories and the traditions. And so I was lucky enough to play for Sir Alex, who kind of drilled it into us, and always spoke about Sir Matt and the history of the club and what it meant, and this is how Manchester United play, and this is our responsibility. So it kind of just became what I became that as well, because you do.
Is that something you're doing at the moment, like drilling it into the young players and the players at the moment?
Yeah, we obviously making them aware of it, and I think that when you're at the club, you can't help but be aware of it. Things like tonight, you know, the boys will see it wherever they are in the world, and international duty, they're fully aware of it. And I think once you're here and around the ground and around the city, I think you just know what it means to people. And it's not just about the football; it's kind of how you behave, the responsibility. It's a culture, and it's just the way of life. So as a player, you buy into that. I certainly did, and you're grateful for that position.
Obviously, Sir Matt Busby is one of the greatest managers of young players and young people. You're in the coaching staff now. Do you look at him and try to learn bits from him and how he did that? And when you're talking to the young United players at the moment?
Yeah, of course. Listen, I was unfortunately I never got the chance to meet Sir Matt, which is a shame. You know, I'd love to meet the great man everyone speaks so highly of, and I kind of got Sir Alex, which you know rubbed off on me just as much. But
wasn't too bad, was he?
No, it wasn't too bad at all. But I think you learn as you go, and you hear the stories, and then, as I said, Sir Alex and the way he kind of probably learned before that, and he treated us. It's something that you just kind of live and learn, and certainly now as staff and Ollie as manager, that it's something we're fully aware of. That it's kind of our responsibility to help the younger lads. And make the team successful, but in a certain way, and it's something that comes quite natural to us, and that's just what we believe in. That's just us, how we are. So it's great when you can be like that and really believe in something, and hopefully we get the rewards for it.
Finally, if you had to say a few words to the fans about the project that you're building now with Ollie, what would that be? What would you tell the fans?
Yeah, and listen, I'm not getting too carried away about things. I have to say the support's been incredible over the last few years. I mean, we've had some success a few years ago now of relentless success, and we all enjoyed it. And we had some years where, you know, we didn't win as much as we would like. But I think the support as a player, personally, going through the ups and downs, to have the backing all the time of the fans is special, you know, because clubs don't get that. So me personally, I'm fully aware of that. So I think the support has been absolutely fantastic, and hopefully we can repay that in sometime soon, because it's what we believe in, you know. I think we're, as I said, it's a special club, it's a close-knit club, and when we get days like we did at the weekend, and you feel the energy and it kind of everyone pulling in that direction, it's quite special. So hopefully, and I'm sure there is good times ahead.
Backing you all. Cheers, Michael. Thanks so much, mate. Thank you. Phelan, thanks so much for joining us here in the United Stands. We're here for the Busby premiere, a fantastic event, fantastic man. Well, look, is his philosophies, right, the philosophies of youth and that sort of thing, is that something that you and Ollie now are trying to bring back into the club?
I don't think it's a case of bringing it back. I think it's always been there. I think we're blessed at the moment with some good young players who really want to be Manchester United players. And we're giving them the opportunity. For some, it may be coming a little bit earlier, but circumstances are that we have a manager now in Ole who believes in that. I'll certainly back that, and the present coaches will do the same. So that youthfulness is nice. It's great to work in with a group of players that really are endeavouring to make careers, but they want to do it with Man United.
So that history, that rich history of Manchester United and Sir Matt and his legacy and the Busby Babes, is that something that is taught to the players when they sign? I'm sure the younger players already know about it, but does that translate to the dressing room?
I think the players in the academy hear it and see it all the time. They're surrounded by the history of the club. I think, when you've got maybe more senior players coming into the club, it's important that they embrace the history of the football club and they find out, with other players in the dressing room, and also by, you only have to pick up, there's plenty of books out there that you can pick up and read. And I think they understand the size and the history of the football club pretty quickly. And then they buy into it. And then once they buy into it, it's a great football club to be at.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that one of the reasons why you sort of decided to come back in the way, because of the rich history of the club and the Busby legacy? Is that what brought you back as well?
Yeah, well, joining them as a player was the first thing. And then putting on that red shirt and playing at Old Trafford. They call it the theatre dreams for a reason, and I had a lot of dreams and I fulfilled those dreams. Yeah. Then as a coach, you mature as a coach, and you try and put some of that back into the present group of players. To then leave is something that happens in football these days, but to give them the opportunity to come back and really help in a different way now than before is a real privilege.
I feel that's almost like a personification of Manchester United as a football club, isn't it? Sort of down and out and then coming back again. We've had a rough sort of last 6 years post-Fergie era. Again, is that something that you're telling the players, listen, this is in the nature of the football club to come back from despair almost? Yeah,
there's been ups and downs, but there's always been ups and downs. Even in Sir Matt's days, there'd have been ups and downs. In Sir Alex's days, there'd have been ups and downs. We've had a few along the way in the last 12 months, but that's part of the game of football. The reason that you're in it is because you enjoy doing what you're doing every day, and you really feel privileged enough to pass on experience to young players to give them that opportunity to be part of the history. And I think that's showing in certain performances. You're talking about an under-23s team yesterday, which is, terrific in some respects. Hopefully, we can manoeuvre that and add to that. But these young boys now that are coming into the team, along with the senior ones, are really having a go and buying into Ollie's philosophy now, and we're backing that up as staff.
Absolutely, I've got to say, it does excite me as a fan as well. Seeing all these young lads, Daniel James, Brandon Williams, I'm so excited. Mick,
yeah, you're welcome.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's a fancy dress.
Do you not like him, Paddy? Paddy?
Is that this?
Are you not?
My granddaughter's at university, so she would know what they wear then.
Are you not a fan of the...
Everyone takes the mick out of him for wearing
Paddy,
them.
what if we had to have a quick word on these trousers, right, and this blazer, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking of Ginger Rogers, all those old-time dances.
Would you not wear them? Would you not wear them?
I'd wear them in bed at night.
Oh, yeah, no, that's good enough for me, Paddy. Paddy, if you would wear these to bed at night, they're good for me to wear out.
I just admire it.
Thank you.
It's not particularly warm, they're not...
Yeah. I've got no socks on as well, Pad.
Oh, God, yes, you did.
I wore my best Man United socks today,
Who do you work for?
We're at the United Stand fan channel. Yeah. Yeah. I was at the Munich Memorial Foundation. Yeah. See, look, I'm a young fan myself. I'm 19. So to be there, obviously you know about the Munich, the Munich disaster and things like that. But to be there, Paddy, it was. These aren't even the questions that I planned, but it was unreal. Like, I had always known about what had happened, but to learn about it in that detail with the family members of the people, I couldn't believe it.
I know, but that's heart-rending for myself as well, because they had a little luncheon afterwards up this, and all the family members, but what were left, because don't forget that's long ago, there's a lot of the family members, or parents would be dead and all that sort of thing.
But it was like...
Meeting family members, I would be like you. I would be like you, a little bit overawed by it all.
It was like... Do you know what? I was like, get me on the pitch. I want to fight. I want to fight for the club. Do you know what I mean? It was so inspiring. It was amazing. Anyway.
It was a great moment. It was great for me, as I said, because I'd never met them before either.
You've almost got a piece of sort of history and oh, this is the blood of these great Man United players, and that was amazing to be there. It really was.
And you were too young, but I saw them play, and some of them were fantastic.
I mean, what were they like? What was Sir Matt Busby specifically? We're here for his premiere.
I'll just give you one situation. The first time I ever saw Duncan Edwards play, I went to Sheffield Stadium. Clyde played there. They were a team that were in the Premier League in Scotland at that particular time. It was an under-23 international. Scotland were playing England. And I lived not very far from there, so we went to the game anyway. And I only went to see Duncan Edwards. And there was a guy who played for Bristol City, John Attio, got injured, and they allowed a substitute in the under-23s in those days. Unheard of. But they put Duncan Edwards to centre forward.
How old was he at the time?
Scored 4. He was about 16, 17. He scored 4. But I was going to say he was a midfield player. Yeah. All of a sudden he's a striker. They beat Scotland 6-2 or something ludicrous. But he scored 4. But he was a magnificent player. And he wasn't this big, gigantic 10. He was my size, about my weight. But all powerful.
What do you think about made him so special then, Duncan Edwards?
His ability.
Pure talent.
Pure talent, yeah. That stuck out like a sore thumb.
So Sir Matt Busby, we're here for his premiere. Listen, you knew him. What made him such a special manager?
Well, you know about football, he was very honest. Never told lies. I'd never heard him tell a lie. Never heard him swear, believe it or not. When you think of some of the situations that football managers get into today, we never swore when he was when he was there.
Respect.
Oh, he was this figure. When he'd walk into a room, I've been at dues here in Manchester when Matt would be there, and Matt would walk into the room, you could hear a pin drop when he walked in. And then it would go quiet for a few minutes, and then everyone would start talking again. But just the arrival of him made all the difference. Just one of these people that had that bit of magic.
What was he like off the pitch? We see a lot of him, you know, his managerial success and that sort of thing, but what was he like as a man?
He was terrific off the pitch. He would mix with players. You're right, Alan. He would mix with players.
Yeah.
He was terrible. You go out into a restaurant on a Saturday night in Manchester, there wouldn't be a lot of restaurants in Manchester at the time I was playing. There's loads now. But we used to always go to the same Italian restaurant. And Matt would come in the odd weekend, he'd come over and have a chat with you. And you know, we'd been playing that afternoon. And I think it was myself, Noel Cantwell, Dennis Law, Morris Setters. Still waiting for Dennis to pay the bill yet, or pay some of the bill. He never ever did. Coming from Aberdeen.
No, he's already said he'd wear him to bed. Yeah, no, well, between me and him,
They're all lined up there.
I don't know. I think they're waiting to see me, Paddy.
Is it?
Yeah. Just last question, right? I think you've got to go off. You're going to get whisked away. Last question. Listen, you were there, 1968. You won that cup final. What was that like after in the change room?
We were all delighted for Matt more than anything. If you ever watch the film, you'll see everybody run to Matt when the final whistle went. I mean, what he'd done for English football, not just for Manchester United, because in 1956, 57, 56 particularly, can't remember the guy's name, didn't want English teams to be involved in Europe for some strange reason. And now it's totally gone the other. Only through Matt's hindsight, I'm saying I'm playing in Europe, whether you like us or not. And you look at the European Cup now, it's the biggest trophy outside the World Cup.
It's true.
Outside the World Cup, it's a great competition. But that's all down to Matt Busby.
Legend. Paddy, thanks so much. I really appreciate. Listen, you can have them anytime you want, all right? You can have them anytime you want. Look, you can have them anytime you want. Anytime you want, Paddy.